Hey there, this is Therese Skelly, and I am so excited that you are going to be listening to an episode of the Fiercely Brilliant podcast. Do you like those two words? Fiercely Brilliant. My hypothesis is that you are here for a reason. We all are. Our souls have led us on journeys that have very often taken some twists and turns, and sometimes it's not pretty. Sometimes there's struggle and there's loss and there's challenge, and in the middle of that, there's always a way out. And it's those times that often lead us into our great life and work. So you're going to hear stories in these episodes of myself and other beautiful people that share the journey. They share how they got to the place where they're standing, working in their brilliance, and being the powerful leaders that they are. So stay tuned and enjoy this episode. Hey, this is Therese Skelly in the Fiercely Brilliant podcast. And you know that I hang out with some cool people, and I love to bring you stories of amazing people who have literally made their brilliance their business, or they live their brilliance out from their business. And so today I'm super excited to bring my friend Tish Times to the show. And so I'm going to introduce Tish in a moment, but the goal of this podcast is always to give you hope and inspiration, is always to show you, wherever you are, you can get through anything. And there are certain things that my friends and I have gone through and certain strategies we have employed that I want you to take away so you too can be fiercely brilliant in the world. All right, so Tish, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with us, darling.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here. I've literally been looking forward to this all morning.
Yeah. Sweet. So tell the people what you do.
So first of all, I'm a woman who I love helping people. I love making sure that women know that they can think bigger, they can live bigger. In my professional life, I hate phony networking. I hate salesy sales, and I believe that other people do as well. So I literally get joy from empowering entrepreneurs and sales professionals to just be themselves, to be authentic, to have great conversations, to stop trying to put on a name tag and be someone else, and just be themselves, and other people will fall in love with them first, and then they will love the work that they do with them. So I just love helping people be who they are.
That is so cool. Well, and just let me tell you this. So Tish and I, we live in the same state. She's you're out west, and we have mutual connections. So we had one of those, hey, we should get to know each other. And I was never, ever, ever, ever going to join a networking group, never. I'm like, oh, I would never go to BNI. Not that I had anything against it, but I like to work from home. And after 15 minutes of being on a call with Tish, I'm like, I will follow you anywhere, woman. And she just happens to have a chapter, a franchise of Network in Action. And so I've been a member of her networking organization, and it is so different. It is like, if you can get me to join, hell. And so I don't know if you want to talk about it, because I had a lot of blocks to networking, because it is just passing business cards and just fake, right? And so do you want to say anything about that? Because that's kind of cool.
I was drawn to this, Therese, because I'm like you. I've been a member of lots of other traditional networking organizations over the course of my career and life. And I was so over it. And I would have never just joined another group. I've kind of politely bowed out of a lot of them. And when I came across this particular opportunity to buy this franchise, it just spoke volumes to who I am, what I love, and the whole thing about being real and not feeling like you have to do everything the same every month. I loved it as a franchise owner. I get to do what works for the people in this community, what works well for the people that we're attracting into our group. And I love it, because I said it, I hate phony networking. I will walk out of a meeting in a heartbeat that feels like everybody's just kind of, trying to impress each other. And I think, and you could attest to this, it's like, no, how can we help each other grow? How can we connect in a way that feels authentic? How can we, outside of this room, build real relationships that are going to go far beyond business? And that's what we do. And that's what we're going to continue to do. And I'm super excited about it. We're just getting started.
Yeah, it's really, I'm super impressed. I'm really impressed. And it speaks to who you are. Like, you really live your values. You walk and you talk. Okay. So you help empower people, right? You've been a sales trainer, you've been a recruiter, you do all kinds of stuff. You're a speaker, you do all kinds of very cool things. So today I see you working in your brilliance. I see you show up and you just light up a room and how'd you get here?
Ooh. So I didn't just arrive here.
What?
Not at all. And I find it interesting because when I speak, I often have the privilege of talking to people afterwards and they say, oh my God, you're so, and you've been, and you're, and I have to give them the real story and make sure people know that this has been a long journey. I did not grow up as a young girl with tremendous amount of confidence. I actually was quite the opposite. I was very, very introverted. I was very insecure. I grew up in an environment that there wasn't a lot of people of color in my world. And so therefore I got this story in my head that I was too dark. My hair was too coarse, that I needed to be smaller. I stand 5'11" without heels on, as you know.
Yeah.
So I was too big, I was too fat. And looking back, I'm like, girl, you were fine. What was wrong with you back then? You didn't, but at 15, 16 years old, you see a different version in many cases of yourself. And so I have really spent years really working on building my confidence. Along the way, I fell in love with the monster, unfortunately, who was very abusive, who took the little bit of confidence that I did have and kind of bringed it out of my life. And so the early part of my life, my 20s, 30s, and 40s, and almost 50 now, it's like I have really had to work on, and it's a daily endeavor. Yeah. I don't know that we ever arrived to where we just have it all together, but it is a daily endeavor, and it has been a journey for me, for sure.
Are there things, because somebody might not be a Black woman or an almost 6 foot woman, they might not have had that, but we all had that sense of I'm not enough or something's wrong with me, whatever the thing is, right? Yes. And how do you, because you can't change this and you can't be 5'2", right? That's never going to happen. And so how do you reconcile that? How do you stand today? Because you are loud and proud. I mean, this woman, she's 5'11" and she wears freaking heels. Like I hug her and I'm like this, right? You dress like you're so beautiful and you're just bold and there's no part of you today that hides. And yet so many of the people that listen, so many of our clients are freaking hiding because somebody gave them the message that they were defective. Whew. We got to preach on this one, sister, because that's the wound, right?
And it literally makes me emotional because I lived it. I see it. And the interesting thing is I think because of my background, I can see it from a mile away. Yeah. And I can see that woman that feels like they have to cover up who they are. And you're right. It doesn't matter where we come from, what our skin color is. All of us have those stories. All of us have those voices. And what I would say to that person, and what I do say to the women that I encounter, is learning how, and you've heard me say it before, I always say, don't let anyone tell you have to get out of your shell or you have to change who you are. I always say, rock your shell. Figure out who you are, learn how to own that place, because for years, I hunched over because I was too tall. I covered, all those things. So now I wear heels and I'm not ashamed. But there was a time, Therese, where I did, and I felt like I was too much. And, unfortunately, I had a few people in my life, very few, but a few people in my life who made me feel as though I was too much. And I didn't deserve to stand out and to be who I was. And so it is that journey of figuring that out. I had someone who said to me, which I don't think they'll ever know the power in this statement. She said to me, we were taking a picture. There's a lot of people. I was the tallest person in the picture. Of course, yeah. And, of course, I'm just trying to get where everybody else is. And I go to do this to kind of put arms around the people. And she goes, stop shrinking. Ooh. And those two words spoke volumes, because it wasn't about the picture in that moment. It was about my entire life.
You took it in.
I have a picture that I use when I speak. And it's like all these friends of mine in high school, and I'm the tallest person, and you couldn't find me in that picture because I was hiding behind everyone else. Wow. And I used that picture to remind myself and to show other people how easy it is to try to blend in, when really, we're called, I believe God called us to be able to stand out, to be able to make a difference, and we can never do that behind someone else. And I don't mean this as support, but I mean hiding behind the crowd, trying
Mm-hmm.
to look like everyone else, to sound like everyone else. So I've had, some amazing other women who have given me permission to use my voice, to find my voice and to use it, to stand up, never to feel like I have to, not be who I am. And like you said, I don't mind wearing bright colors now. I don't mind wearing
Mm-hmm.
high heels, but I promise you, if you found pictures of me in my younger years, you wouldn't see the same woman. You wouldn't, because I just didn't know who I was yet. And
Yeah.
I pray that the women who will hear this will know that, number one, you have permission to figure out who you are and be that
Mm-hmm.
person.
Mm-hmm.
And that let no one take from you that right, that God-given right to just be.
Amen.
Yes. Amen.
But
Indeed.
here's how do I want to say this? There's a lot of haters out there. There's a lot of people that like you and I both, like we've both kind of broken out in many ways. And there are people that are more comfortable when we play small.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if somebody is encountering that, what do you say to them? If somebody's, I mean, I can't tell you how many, like, you're so intense, right? You're too big. I'm too intense. I'm just too much in my little body. You're like, but women, because I'm only 5'2", right? So women have been given this message, and it's a way, it's manipulation, and it's keeping us silent, and it's just like, you're too much. You're this. So if somebody's dealing with that, and maybe it's a family member, or maybe it's a spouse, or maybe it's community, or maybe it's church, or maybe like, how do you break out of that when it's like literally the water you might be swimming in?
Yeah.
So you had to be kind of a fighter, Tish, to kind of just go, psh, oh hell no, right? So how do you do that?
It's hard. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit deep. You tell me if this is
Go
too
deep,
much.
girl. No, there's not on this show. Are you kidding? Just keep your clothes on. That would be the only
Okay,
line,
all
right?
Yeah. So there's something that's called a soul tie. And many times we get in these relationships thinking that we're having this physical interaction. But many times we allow our souls to become entangled with people that are not sent to be a blessing to us. They're actually sent to cause us to shrink back, to hide away, to be less than, to believe the lies that are being shared with us. And I can honestly tell you, having been there, I'll say for me, it took years to untangle some of those soul tie relationships because I didn't know they were there. So frequently we don't realize that's what's happened to us. Right. And so when they are close relationships, family members, people we consider to be friends, people who are leaders in our lives, it's almost impossible when we're unaware. Right. And we will live in those environments for years. And people I remember, Therese, when I was in my first marriage, the thing you get so frequently is, well, why don't you just leave?
Yeah. Why'd you stay? Yeah.
Why did you stay? Why didn't you just leave? It is so much deeper than an intellectual decision. You have to be willing to go deep to understand how entangled you've become with this person and how you've, without realizing it, subconsciously given them permission to lord over you. And so therefore, I feel like once we're able to recognize it, that's the biggest battle, is to be able to realize. And I remember kind of going like, wait a minute.
Wow.
Wait a minute. In that moment for me, when you're talking about a clarifying moment, and once I made that decision, I was willing to do whatever it took to get out of that particular relationship. Mind you, I had many, but that one stands out for me. I remember feeling like, okay, I'm going to do whatever I have to do. I had so much courage in that moment. Yeah. And I remember leaving, staying by myself, hiding out until I could get away, so there was a lot, but it didn't come until I had that clarifying decision and that recognition that somebody, I'd given someone that much permission over me. So that's the first step, I believe.
Thanks for sharing that. I'm sure you don't talk about that a lot in public, right? But I feel like the more real we get, the more the people that are listening can go, I'm in that. Or wait, there's a different choice. Because literally it's like sometimes just it's the norm. It's the water we're swimming in. And so I want to shine a light going, and there's another choice, and there's another choice. And there are women that have lived through it. Whew, I'm getting teary here. So how does you want to say something? Go ahead.
No, I'm just listening to you. I'm like, I get emotional. It's just big for me because I seen it. I've been there. And I don't ever want someone to believe, and I tell you, and I want to also be really, really honest here. It's easy to get drawn back there.
Yeah.
It's easy. You know what I mean? You can easily, because it's almost like almost like place of safety. You know, I don't have to, and this is going to sound, take it for what it is, but it's like when you're in that position, you don't have to think for yourself. You don't have to make this, there's a place of safety. You can get served in some places by being in that kind of relationship.
Sure.
However, I know for me, and again, it's a constant battle. It's like, I don't ever want to feel as though, and I don't want other people to feel as though you have to remain there, because there is a different choice. There is a different story that we can start to tell ourselves.
Nice. So let's talk about, so you extricated yourself, and let's say somebody's watching this and they're like, okay, restart. How do you create confidence when you have been broken or when you feel broken, right? Because the woman you are today is a badass. But I bet all those years ago, you were not so, and I had the same story too, right? I like, how do you, when you've lived a life that's like, how do you then just go, oh, I can sell something, you should hire me, when you on the inside don't really believe it?
Yeah. I have for years, and again, I want to be really clear, I still have to do this because occasionally I don't wake up as this woman full of confidence. Some days I wake up as this, oh my God, what if? Oh my God, can I? Are they going to love me? I definitely have those moments still. So I believe that I believe that as women, people period, but definitely as women, we believe more what we tell ourselves far more than what other people tell us. So that's why we have to get really intentional about the words that we're saying. And so therefore, even when someone else is sharing negative things, now instead of taking that as, oh, I must be that person. Oh, I am that. I have to say, no. I am a successful woman. I am able to, to articulate myself in a way where people will be, magnetically attracted to me. I am a woman of faith. I have to tell myself those things to combat the lies that are constantly against me. Right. And so that over years of doing that, it began to happen. And you're right. Sometimes I didn't believe it. I would say it and almost felt like I was lying to myself.
And you were. At the beginning, you were. Because you have to rewire. You literally are rewiring how your brain works, right?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. As for me being a person of faith, I believe that we can renew our mind, but we have to do it daily. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen by saying it one time. It happens by that constant reconfirmation of I am who I say I am, not what everything around me is trying to tell me.
Boom. Love that.
So that's what it's been for me.
So let me just break this down a little bit. When you get the negative thoughts, I'll just do a little teaching moment here. When like Tish said, and we all wake up. So if you don't rock the the morning all the time, like, hello, welcome to normal. And the gift of, at least for my life, is I have the support where I literally can get on the phone and go, okay, I suck today. Can you tell me that somebody will hire me still? We need, number one, to be real, and we need to have safe people that build us up and can remind us when we forget, right? But along the way, because so forgetting is normal, but it's just the maintenance. You have got, you wash your hair every day, or you eat every day, or you brush your teeth. You should be washing your mind every day. You should also be managing yourself every day. But here's what you need to know from a brain perspective. Your brain is not your friend. Say it with me. Your brain is not your friend. And what happens is that your brain is wired, literally, it's our biological imperative to keep you safe, and safe equals stuck in the same.
Woo! Can you say that again,
please? I sure will. So from cave days, things would jump out, right? So our brain is wired to go, okay, that could happen. Oh my God, look out for this. So our brain, in order for us to be safe, our brain says, okay, if you just stay small, stay the same, stay familiar, stay, you know how to live with a man that treats you like hell. You know this level of confidence. You know how to do this. It's all safe. One day you wake up and go, oh, heck no, I
Yeah.
want to shine. Your brain's like, what? What?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what happens is your brain, so all those thoughts like, oh my God, it's not going to work. Blah, blah, blah. What I teach my people is, number one, your brain's not your friend. If you understand that, you don't dance with it. Then you just go, isn't that interesting? There's that thought. My brain is just firing off, just trying to protect me. And the best question is this true? Is it true? And then you can use my barking dog technology and you go, oh, you're so cute. Oh, just go lay down. Shh, I got it. Right? But it teaches you how to not let those thoughts, because if you can't control your thoughts, you'll never get anywhere. So thanks for letting me have a teachable moment on your dime there. But basically,
I totally wrote that down. Safe is stuck in the same. Oh my God. That's it. That's it.
So we have to battle to get out of, because it's almost like everything in our physiology is fighting us. So I think that's where we need people like you and people like me. We need people that are supporting, calling out greatness. So how do you, like, if somebody's on a precipice, like I really want to take this next step. I know either I want to start a business or I'm in a business and I want to play a bigger game. I want to do speaking. I want to do whatever.
Yeah.
What would you give them? So let's say they're already doing it. They're a little more confident, but they're like, what tips would you give them?
So the thing that I do have, I mentioned there were some people that were kind of helping me stay in that stuck place. I also have some amazing, wonderful people in my life who pull that greatness out of me. And I love, I love being that for others. And I'm so grateful that I have those people in my life. So number one, get with that person. I'll never forget when I was teetering on that spot of wanting to start this business and knowing that it was like something I should have been doing. I have a very dear friend who's now my sister-in-law, by the way. She married my brother.
Oh, cool.
I'll never forget us going for a walk and me talking about, and I want to, and she just stops and she says, I want a date. Give me a date right now. And I was like, and I'll never forget, I was like, October 13th. It was 2000, what, 14? No, 2010. It was 2010. She was like, give me a date. And I was just like, I just gave her a date. And I had my first event that date. And I've been doing it ever since.
Oh my God.
And so I have people like that. So I say, get with those people who are going to call you on your head crap and not allow you to stay in that place of stuck. Number two, do it. Because the thing that I found is I got more and more comfortable. I'd never spoken before. I'd never run events before, none of those things until I did it.
Yes.
So it's like, do it. And then even if it sucks, I've been in rooms where I've had 2 people show up. I've been in rooms where I had to preach to an empty room. And I did it anyway. I have. And I did it anyway because that was the only way I would get better at it.
Absolutely.
And I knew in the moment I had that room where it was empty or 1 or 2 people, the moment I finished, I scheduled the next one. Because I knew if I stayed in my feelings, I would not do it again. And so it's like, do it. Say it. What?
I was going to ask you. Because a lot of people would have, the brain would go, see, nobody wants you. It's not going to work. Tish, do you have a mission? Because it's in my model of the world, it's like you got this thing, but you go, shh, my mission is pulling me forward. So you go lay down, right? So how do you not quit on yourself? Because this is powerful.
So this is the thing. I believe that if I quit on myself. But you know what's bigger for me? Just because of, I guess, my belief system, my background. I feel like when I quit on me, I quit on all the people that I'm called to serve. And I literally see the faces of those people whom, when I met them, they were struggling so desperately with their own confidence. They didn't believe they could have a successful business. They didn't believe they could be anything beyond what they currently were. And I've seen them excel. I've seen them make more money than they ever thought possible. I've seen them get to a place in their confidence where they're running their business like leaders. And so when I think about quitting on me, I also think about quitting on them. And I remember someone saying to me, there are people whom you've never met who are depending on you to do this. And I think about those people whose faces I've yet to see and say, those people are depending on me to get up and say yes, even when I want to stop, even when I want to stay in this bed, and I can't give up on them.
I want to freeze this a moment. Did you notice that Tish got choked up? That is a mission-driven woman. And if you don't have it that deep in your bones, it's really easy to go, oh, it's too hard, I'll just get a job. So somehow you got to activate that. That's the work I do. I call that embodiment. Like that will sustain you. That being so connected, what I say is I think people are praying for me. I think somebody's out there and they're praying for you, that literally somebody's out there going, please God, please, I can't do this anymore. And you have an agreement on some level that you're the solution, or you on the listening to this or watching this, you're the solution. So how dare you stay small? How dare you not do the work? Like, it is ours to support the people we're supposed to. And so you can have all the little voices, but make that mission bigger.
Yes.
I cried on one, like one of these recently, and I'm like, this is what you want. This will keep you going.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to do another podcast on how to get us there, but this is what you want. And to me, this is the God-given thing. My business is my ministry. Yours is your ministry, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to tap in so deeply, like, what am I here to serve? Who am I here to serve? What are my gifts? How am I here to make a contribution? And so I love that I made you cry. But I didn't make you cry. Your mission is so important to you.
Yeah. And, you know, and I think we all as entrepreneurs have had at least one, some of us once a week, some of us once a day, where it's like, okay, I'm just going to get a job. You know, this is just too much. That's the thing that keeps me from abandoning the ship. That's the thing right there. And I'm like, there's days when I'm like, well, I can supplement my income and do blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's taking away from the people who need you the most. It's like, what can you do within your mission to serve those people?
Yeah.
And just make it happen.
Oh, woman. I feel like we have just come, like we should just raise a toast. This has been such a beautiful, this is really, wow. There we go. So, thanks for your vulnerability. Thanks for getting real. Thanks for sharing. Because I think the more that we can highlight this, you know, you and I are experts in our industry. You rock at the sales and the networking, and anybody in the world can learn how to do that. There's lots of that training out there, but there's not a lot of places where people show up and just get so real. And this to me is going to heal people. This to me is going to, like, somebody's not going to give up because of our conversation today. Somebody's not going to find a job and let their dream die because of what you shared. And I just really want to acknowledge that.
That is my prayer for sure. Thank you.
Okay. So I have access to you, but I'm sure that the people watching and listening would go, who is that woman? I got to follow her. So tell us how to find you, and if you want to offer anything.
Yeah, definitely. I keep it super, super, super simple on all of my social media platforms. You can find me at Tish Times. For Facebook, you can find me at Coach Tish Times.
Okay.
And my email is even tish@tishtimes.com. Send me an email. And I'd love to give you what I call the $1 million mindset sales blueprint. And it's on at tishtimes.com. It's right at the top. Click the button and you'll get a printout that you can actually have a printer do for you in poster size, or you can do just a regular 8x10 printed out yourself as a PDF. But it helps you to get through a lot of this mindset stuff we're talking about, because I don't believe it's about competence. Many of us are very clear on how we do what we do. It's the confidence that stops us from doing it. And this blueprint will help you to get through some of the head clutter that's stopping you from making the money in your business, having the success that you desire, and it's my gift to you.
That's fabulous. And you can find that at tishtimes.com, which conveniently she's got on her wall.
I do. Imagine that.
Imagine that. Yeah, she's all like styled with her colors. And if somebody's interested in the networking organization, like ours is in Phoenix, but I know it's like nationwide. So say a second about that.
Right. So if you go to networkinaction.com, that's our like national website, you can definitely put in your zip code or your city, and it'll tell you where there are franchises in your area. If you're in the Phoenix area, shoot me a message and I will invite you and let you come and check us out. And you'll fall in love and you'll join us. So, so wherever you are in the world, there's probably one close to your area.
Fabulous. And if there's, not that you haven't dropped sufficient wisdom bombs, but it just kind of go into your heart. Is there anything else that needs to be said today that you want to share?
I will tell you what my mentor, Dr. Michael Brown, has said to me for years. He said, you're wired for success, but you're programmed for failure. So you got to change the
We
programming.
talked about, wow.
Change the programming. He is already said you are more than a conqueror. You can do anything on earth that you put your mind to. It's the programming that has to be established, and you have the power to do that. So tell yourself a different story.
Boom. Mic drop. What a good, I love this. This is so fun to hang out with you. So, I gotta take a bath after this one. I just want to like luxuriate in all this yummy, and I just want to chill. This is so beautiful. So thank you for your beautiful, beautiful presence. You inspire me. I am blessed to have you in my life.
Likewise, Therese.
And happy to have you out there in the world. Gosh, what do I want to say? Well, how'd y'all like this? Wasn't this good? Don't I have the coolest people? Yeah, lucky me and lucky you. So anyway, what I would love is leave a comment. If you're watching this on iTunes or any of the other, wherever these podcasts are hanging out, leave a comment. And I always want to hear from you. So if this touched your heart, feel free to reach out to Tish. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm ts@tereskelly.com. I would love to hear how this inspired you, because that's what this is all about. All right, peace and blessings. Bye now.
Bye.
Hey, I really appreciate you listening to that last episode. And I would love to get to know you a little bit more and to get to connect with you on a deeper level. And here's what I suggest. I've got a Facebook group that corresponds with the content of these podcasts. It's called Fiercely Brilliant Women in Business with Therese Skelly. So if you just search Facebook, Fiercely Brilliant with Therese Skelly, you'll find the group. It's a really nice group. It's a small group, and I'm super active in it. So each week we have a lot of supportive conversations. I share a lot of resources. I do a lot of coaching on the spot, and I would love to have you join me there. So if you like the vibe of this podcast and you want to hang out with a pretty darn cool community of women, join us at Fiercely Brilliant on Facebook with Therese Skelly. Alrighty, peace and blessings, and I hope to see you in the group. Bye now.